Hi, so this is Ina the matchmaker and Alina the matchmaker, and we are here today because we're going to do a little experiment. I'm going to interview Alina. I'm going to ask Alina all the questions that typically I get when I meet people, and we'll see what her answers are going to be. So Alina, when people learn that I'm a matchmaker, they are typically like, oh my God, is that a thing? You actually get paid for that? How do you even get into something like that? So that's my first question for you is how did you get into it?
Sure. So I was in sales for about 10 years and was selling all different kind of things. And I discovered the power of being a super connector where I would connect people where I met at one party and I registered something about them, like a mini computer in my head. And then I would connect with them with somebody I met at the other party, and people would still have friendships or business partnerships, or they're, getting married and things like that. So at the time, it was natural for me to be like, okay, this is what I do. I know I even remember what people told me about, what they are looking for. So I could always make that connection. And being in New York City myself at the time when I started, I was also kind of curious, like, dating here is a disaster. So how do I improve my personal life? So I think it all kind of came together. I always wanted to connect people, make an impact, and also always learn. There's always something new to learn, never boring. So
Never
that's
boring.
the reason for sure.
Okay. Um, so with especially with like you work with a lot of clients in New York and other areas too. So there are apps, there are social events, etc. Why does one need a matchmaker?
I think a lot of times I hear it on a daily basis. People are just, they can't even open an app. They're so sick of it. They can open an app maybe because they're overwhelmed with likes. It could be different reasons because they don't get any likes. Maybe they just feel like it's not, they're not talking to humans. Like it could be such a some people get scammed, so it's like such bad experience that people, I think more and more they want to meet in person, but then who has time in New York City to look for a specific single person? So
Mhm.
they usually come to Matchmaker when they feel like they either need some support or they just looking for that private club where you can actually, meet people that are also aligned on building the relationship. And then you're also getting the feedback along the way. So basically, a lot of the value is outsourcing when you don't have time or you're busy with your career or you just feel like you're confused and frustrated.
Yeah, and a lot of people I meet don't want to be in an app anymore because it's not working for them. So they're moving to trying something different. So who is your typical client? Like what kinds of people hire a matchmaker? And I think you kind of like touched up on that already.
Right. There are definitely at least four types of people that I typically help. One of them is New York City, Miami-based Jewish singles who are looking for very niche, religion-based or tradition-based match, right? Second is immigrants when let's say they come from India, they're super smart and they're like successful and they just don't have a network here. They don't, right? Because it's just
Mhm.
they didn't go to college here, or maybe they just, work all the
Mhm.
time. And it's something that you have to build from scratch. And then there are women around 35 where the biological clock is ticking and they're very aware of it. So they need a little support. Maybe they're having a successful career and they just feel like they can buy an expertise or time. And then there are also Russian speakers from all around the US, even the world, that gravitate to me because I'm a Russian speaker. It's either because I'm a Russian speaker or because I have Russian speaking ladies or gentlemen that I can connect them with. So because of their heritage, they're looking for somebody who is actually same, or maybe they speak Russian, or maybe they're fascinated with Russian culture, and that's part of it.
Okay. Um, when people hire a matchmaker, what do they ask for? Like, okay, I'm here. Like, let's say I hired you. I came. Like, what do I ask for?
Um, in terms of like
Like people come and they're like, okay, I wanna, find someone. Are they looking for something like in particular if they don't know? Like they can't just say, okay, I want to find someone. There are a lot of people, right? So how do they figure
well,
out what to ask for?
well, everybody's always different, as you probably know, Ina, but a lot of times it's either somebody that they're looking for is a little bit of a unicorn, whether it's because they are looking for somebody who has certain mindset or certain look or age. And also sometimes it's because it's a niche within a niche. So for instance, being Jewish doesn't mean you're a match, it's because you have to understand the religion. Maybe you're Sephardic versus Ashkenazi, like all these little, specifics that we have to always um, consider for our client. And a lot of times it's also people that I have multiple clients who never been on one date. I just started working with somebody in coaching, and he's, a certain age, but he's never been to a date, or they feel like extreme anxiety around women, so that's basically also
Yeah, some people need coaching, which matchmaking, actually, coaching is part of matchmaking because you can't matchmake without coaching some clients.
100%.
So another question I get is, okay, so how do you even know how to met? Like you don't know these people, you've met them maybe once or twice. How do you like what it is that you know? How do you even know who to match with whom?
So, a part of onboarding is for them to fill out a very deeply asked questionnaire that they do. People do it themselves, and we interview them as well. And we also get recommendations. So, a lot of times I know, or I have a little bit of history of their dating history, whether it came from a matchmaker, whether another matchmaker, right? Whether it came from them disclosing some things to us that they wouldn't disclose on a date, right? Whether it came from my community, which I have a community and people come to my events, and I do know their, track record or the kind of character they are or who they're looking for. So we have to always like kind of have our ears out to see like who is what is their behavior, and can I recommend that person or not?
So one thing you didn't mention, which I know you have, that I think every matchmaker has, that is we're intuitive. We talk to people, we get so much from that one, even one conversation with them, we get more than another person would. So being intuitive is definitely part of that because yes, you can get to people who align like on whatever they're looking for on paper, but there is a lot more to that than just people being good on paper.
Absolutely. And not only that, but we also have to fact check, right? Like if I have a client and I really care about that, obviously I always care about client security. We also have to look the members up. It doesn't matter, like, it could be still like the most wonderful, fuzzy person, but then you see like a criminal record or they're married,
I
So
get vetted.
yeah, they get vetted. And also, it's important to know that, basically we do get some history on them a little bit, not only like online, but we do get some feedback from the dates. Maybe they've dated some other members, and that's really helpful because we can also see the members' patterns if we have to, or we can kind of address these things if they have to be addressed, or be very like transparent about like our coaching and opinions, and that it actually helps in matchmaking.
So now I'm going to ask you the question that I get asked all the time. I'm able to answer it, but I hate that question with passion. So that is, what's your success rate?
Sure, I absolutely agree with you. I hate that question with passion as well because success, I always ask, what do you mean by success? What are you tracking, right? Are you tracking how you're building a relationship? Are you tracking whether you went on first or second date? For a client that I have, and let's put it very straightforward, they're virgin. For them, success is actually going on a date and figuring out who they like, who they don't like, and how can they convert that first dates into second dates, right? For some of my clients, it's removing that anxiety of like going on a phone call or a Zoom call and some cases like that. So for some, it's, for the ones that have been dating and they're really good at dating, maybe they've been dating the wrong people and now they found somebody who is for them and they're exploring that relationship. But guess what? Once you're in met that person, you actually have to unlock another level, which is relationship building. And that has nothing to do with matchmaking, right? Matchmaker's job is to just connect the two people. And of course, I'm there to support them if they have any questions, but that's a different level of success, right? So we all have different steps. I think to me, success is measured by my client's point A and point B. And I see so much progress. For somebody who could never go on a first date and they're going on second, third date, that's a huge progress.
Definitely. I had someone who he actually met someone on his own, but as a result of working with me, he opened up his horizons, and that person was outside of the area that he was dating and that he found comfortable for himself. But as a result of talking to me, he met someone on his own who was not in that area, and he wrote me like a huge letter because he felt like it was part of my success too. So
And
yeah.
that's your success. And I think it's important to note, like when we work with clients, we don't say, oh, you only have to work with Matchmaker. No, you have to go to events. You have to also, if you want to, right? If that's something that you want to practice, you have to go on the app. Some of my clients, they once we onboarded them, we made the app so much better because of the pictures, the prompts, and now they get dates from me and they get the dates from the apps. And before that, they would get no matches.
Oh,
So
no dates.
yeah, so that's success as well. And I think because you did that with him and you open up his horizons, it's attributed to you.
So what about yourself? Are you single or taken?
I'm taken, and the only way that I'm taken is I met somebody through my own company. So that particular type of personality, because he works a lot, he also owns a company, and I know what it's like to be a business owner. It's not easy to date just because you don't have time, and I wouldn't meet him otherwise. So we met organically through my company, I would say like that.
Okay, so you matched yourself.
I did. I did.
Okay. Okay, so a lot of people don't realize this, but matchmaking is a luxury product.
Yes.
Um, and let's cut it to the chase. How much? What's the cost of matchmaking?
It varies. It depends on what the case is. Where do you want to be? Do you want to just remove your anxiety around women, or do you want to get married next year, right? So the time also makes the time, the program, the case itself. Like if somebody never been on a date and they want to get married, that's in the first couple of months, like that's a little urgent, right? So, and also depends on the criteria. I've had some ladies come to me recently that have like very, very, very 0.001% type of criteria, right? I know that it's like a unicorn they're looking for. And some of them are aware of it, and some of them I make them aware of that. So the price tag has to, be that way because it's not easy to find it. And we have to spend a lot of resources or we have to utilize a lot of connections that we have, and that costs money, right? So I would say it safely like this. It typically starts with 10K and up, right? And for matchmaking, there's some price tags of 1 million out there, right? So I would say it's endless, endless limit. But yeah, I would say typically it starts with 10K for matchmaking. If you do coaching, that could be less. But matchmaking, where you actually get the feedback and you get set up with people that you kind of give the green light on, and they give a green light to you as well, that's when it's 10K and up.
Yes, like if you're talking about professional matchmaker, not someone who's just, doing it as fun or like for a friends or whatever, 10K is the minimum.
Oh,
Um,
100%, especially New York City. Like that's just a real steal, actually.
and economical. Um, is there anything I didn't ask you that people ask you when they meet you socially? I think these questions that I asked, the most common ones once I meet people somewhere, but is there anything you can think of that people ask you?
Basically they always ask like, how do you meet people? How do you get to know people? So the three different ways I get to know people. I personally, like my company hosts events, which is not very typical for a matchmaking company, but we host singles events. That's one way I meet my people. Second, we do recruiting, right? So we use recruiters, we reach out to people on LinkedIn. And third way, we collaborate with other boutique matchmaking companies. And just to shout out, is this weekend, it's only happening once a year. And there's going to be a Matchmaker Alliance conference where there's only like, I don't know, 200 matchmakers from all over the world, but there will be like around 100 matchmakers on stuck in that boat. It's going to be
On the
on the cruise.
crows.
Yeah, and we will be pulling out a list of the clients that we will be matching. Like there will be some matchmakers with extremely high network, right? With celebrity network. There's going to be matchmakers like me, the local, more like authentic and professional network, and everywhere, like from Europe, around the world. So that's like once a year opportunity to get on the list because otherwise we're not able to match you with those amazing matches.
Awesome. So hopefully you'll enjoy your time on that cruise. So thank you. So that was Ina and Alina.
Yes, thank you. And nice to see you, Ina, as always. Okay, wait. Okay, it's okay. How do I stop recording it? Okay.